I'm going to the page. What is this thumbnail? Oh, it when it's really small, it almost looks like it looked like Hotline Miami artwork for some reason. I mean, it really actually does. It looks like the side of somebody's face and their hair is like coming down.
I'll have to look at that. It's kind of trippy. Also, hello.
Oh, are we? Let me go. I need to go to the page here. I gotta get on over there. Oh, we still have the old thing from last week's stream, or from last week's charity stream.
Theme?
In there.
What
The
thing?
whole donate here for classy.org.
Oh well.
I can probably fix it though. I'm gonna try and fix it.
So, a few years ago, I was rewiring stuff downstairs, and for no reason, and people for some reason thought that was fun to watch me do. So I told Coury, I'm working on this today. Should I stream it? I guess we decided to do it, so why not?
And here we are. Yeah, it's a little late, but it's like that's my fault. That's my fault. I had to go up to Columbus today for a work thing, and I got back late, and then I ordered we ordered dinner.
So yeah, my audio is unlikely to sound particularly good. I've got two microphones pointing at me, but it's only going to be so good, I think. So yeah. So to sort of explain what I'm doing, you'd possibly seen it in some videos. I had maybe shared some more elaborate photos on Discord. I had a drawer set. This is my retro room. We still haven't done the studio tour. This is one of the reasons I wanted to wait on doing an updated video because I did this really. It was an awesome idea, but don't get it in your head that it's an awesome idea because it's not. Where I had this idea, I'm going to have some chests of drawers, and I'm going to have the systems in it. And pull them out, and the controllers are going to be connected and everything. I'll pull them out, and when I use them, I'll leave it open when I use them. I'll put the controllers back in, slide it in, and the wires will work the same way every time. Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great. It's not great. It took so much work to get the wires managed in such a way to where they would go the same way every time. And even then, even when I had it pretty much perfect, every once in a while, I would find that there'd be a SCART sort of just rocked a little bit out of the G-SCART. And I kind of started to get concerned that over time, just that, even though it's not much, just that movement over time of pulling the drawers in and out was just going to kind of weaken the connections, on the console, maybe weaken the soldering on some of the cables or something like that. I just decided, you know what, this is not a good long-term situation. I need to do something different. So, that is not worth it. I'm going to do something else with the drawers. So I moved them out here, and I got the base of this here is a Besta unit. For my
That's a new version of what I have. That's like another. It's like two of mine stacked on top of each other.
Okay, well, Besta has a bunch of different configurations.
Yeah, I guess there's a ton of them now, and it looks like it's kind of like the base is gray and the top is like normal wood color.
It's like a gray wood sort
of.
Oh
yeah.
So this is actually a countertop from IKEA, and the reason.
Oh, that's right.
The reason for it, let me see if I can kind of show it with my phone here. The reason for it,
you say it's a countertop?
It's a countertop. It was like a $70 countertop from IKEA.
Okay.
So you see here, there's a gap. I actually put a whole bunch of those little rubber feet
right
on the countertop so that there would be just the smallest amount of space here. I didn't want to nail it to it. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. It's heavy. The reason was they were out of stock of the doors, at least the doors that I wanted for the Besta unit. So I'll have to go back sometime when they're in stock. But the doors look like, as far as I've seen, they look like they are flush to the top of the unit.
Yeah.
So I was afraid that if I put this countertop on top, that they would drag against it. So I mean, you can't even see it when you're like, sitting on the couch. Like, you can only see it if you're like down low. You only can see the gap then. So it's not the reason, I've had my eye on Besta for a long time for what I wanted to do for revising this setup. But the only thing that gave me pause, the width of it is almost exactly the width of front foot to back foot of a PVM.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the problem that I have with mine. I can't have a 20-inch on it, or else it'll hang off the back. That's why I have to go with the 14.
Like,
and the 14-inch is like fits perfectly.
So
you have like a little bit of space.
The front and back would be hanging off. Technically, it would fit. And I really wanted to use Besta because everything else about it seemed to be exactly what I wanted for this. But I was just like, that the PVM will fit, so that's why I got the countertop. So you can see that, I've kind of got hanging off the back a little bit more. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. I mean,
no.
It's not like the PVMs would likely.
Like if you took somebody's head and slammed it down on an end of it, it might flip up. If there's nothing else on it.
But yeah, so I mean, even though like functionally, it's not like it's really playing a role in keeping the PVMs in place. I thought it would just look better and just feel better, like to not have them hanging over the edge. I'd feel better about it. So, I mean, even though, like, it's like a different, I think, like, the two-tone color scheme kind of works for it, really.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pleased. And I was thinking about getting, like, different, like, I played around in Photoshop a bit with the pictures from the website. I was thinking about, like, mixing and matching, like, maybe getting some different colors for the doors on front, but I think I'm just going to go with this ash gray or whatever they call it, the doors, but they were sold out.
Oh, okay.
But
people are saying my mic is a little high. I just turned it down a little bit.
They're actually the cheapest doors, but they're the ones I want.
Yeah, I'd like to get doors on mine. I have, like, I could probably do it, but I'm not sure. I think that my Besta units are like a little bit older, so I'm not even sure if they sell this exact size anymore. Well, let me know if my audio levels are better. I turned it down a little bit.
But
oh, there was $5 from Mo Zamboni.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Saying try rewires his setup, or more truthfully, witness tries slow descent into madness. Here's my donation for the therapy he will most surely need. I can turn down a little bit more. Okay.
I mean, so you can see I've already kind of got a bit of a start. You can see on the webcam
maybe it's okay
over
now.
Here, I've got, you can sort of see anyway, I've got two G SCARTs, I've got the G comp in the back, I've got the Retrode up front here, and I've kind of got
you put yours sideways.
Turned sideways because I think that's the most logical way to use it, considering how you have to run the SCART around.
Yeah, if you don't have a flat SCART kit.
Yeah. So kind of my philosophy with what I'm doing here is, not to overmanage my wires, because, something you need to accept, I think, is that things will change. As much as you think that, this should never have to change, it will change. You'll want to plug something in quickly try something out, just something a little different for a little bit, but it's not something you want to leave permanently.
Or you'll get
set
a
up.
better idea. That's my problem. Is I get a better idea. Like, oh, what if I tried it like this?
Yeah. So it's not worth it. So, under here, and this is one of the reasons, I thought about, believe it or not, like buying all these packs of legs, these legs that extend the Besta unit up. They were like, all of the legs together were probably like $40 in and of themselves, which might sound kind of crazy, but look, I can reach my arm underneath, and it's so much easier. I couldn't do that with the chest of drawers. So
yeah, totally.
And
I have legs on all my stuff down
what
here.
I've done is I'm kind of, I'm not going to make them beautiful. My philosophy is don't manage your wires to the point of where like it's going to be so hard to pull something out if you do need to pull it out. They're under there. They're sort of coiled a bit, but like I'm not trying to make something beautiful out of them. I'm just trying to put them where you can't see them. So I'm trying to have like the video cable sort of more forward and under the units, and then the power is going to be like further back. Is kind of what I'm trying to do.
But it'll only stay like that for a while. But it looks like it looks like it's pretty far away from the wall, so it's not too hard to get back.
Right? Oh yeah. I mean, I now that I've put the surge protectors in
case Sandy wants to go back there and roll around a whole bunch.
She probably won't be too interested. But I've got the surge protectors back here, and I've started plugging in a few things, so it's a little more difficult. But like I could totally like get back behind here, and like I can work behind here a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So that's not too bad. One more thing I should show before I get back to it, just so that people aren't alarmed. So I had these in my chest of drawer systems. The main one I'm concerned about.
It sounds like you're calling it the Chesta. You got the Besta, but you used to have the Chesta.
The chest of drawers. The chest of drawers system. So I bought these for it. These are like they're like basically like PC fans, but they're for mounting in like entertainment units.
Yeah. So does it? Do you have to cut a square, or is it like you could use like a whole?
You have to cut a square so it comes out the back like that.
Oh, I see.
That's coiled there is the Wii U or the Wii sensor bar. So never mind that.
Okay.
But like you can see how they are.
Yeah.
They're powered by USB. So the PS2 and the Wii are actually really easy to use with it because they have the USB. Blows my mind that Xbox doesn't. But see, Xbox is going to go here. That's the one I'm really concerned about.
Yeah.
I haven't fully decided how I'm going to, in the new setup, turn them on and off. Because, like, in the drawers, I had one behind the Wii, I had one behind the PS2, and one behind the Xbox. Those are the only systems I was really concerned about. But the way I'm laying things out here, I'm going to put the Xbox here and then the Wii right next to it. So they're kind of going to share this one exhaust fan. And then, like, the GameCube, I don't think really needs it because its exhaust is on the side. I'm not too worried about it. But if I do feel compelled to turn it on, it can share this one with the PS2. And then, just because I had 3 from the chest of drawers, like, I don't think the Dreamcast really needs it, but there it is. So yeah, you cut a square, and then you can just screw them in there. Earlier today, my dad came over today, and we cut all these holes. Like last night, I put the unit together like yesterday afternoon, and then late last night I, figured out where do I want every system positioned, and so that was how I determined where these holes, because my dad's got the hole saws. So we cut the holes for the AV and the power, and the squares for the exhaust fans. So
yeah. I just want to say really quick that there was a $2 donation from Jonathan Hinson.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, son and I had the same countertops for our setups.
Oh, really?
That's
I mean,
plural. More than one.
I mean,
more
for
than
a
one
countertop,
setup.
it's pretty darn cheap. It's very heavy, though.
Yeah.
I was not able to get it out of my car until my dad came over today. So, yeah, it's very good. But I just wanted to show how I've got the switchers. I've got to get this HDMI switcher somewhere. I haven't. Before it was on the far left-hand side of the setup, but this is a little less wide than, just slightly less wide than the full chest of drawers before, so I don't know if it can really go out there. So the only thing I don't have plugged into the retro tank right now is the HDMI. So I still got to figure that out. We'll figure it out together, perhaps.
Yeah, I see that the disc cart is in the chat, and I was gonna suggest you, when I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to be on the stream. I was like, you should have him on, so that, because he, like, his whole channel is just, like, talking about people's game rooms and setups. So
I do apologize. I don't watch as much YouTube as I ought to. So Coury is much more intimately familiar with all the peoples out there.
But like, I'm gonna do a setup tour video, but in the meantime, I was just gonna, like, shoot a bunch of B-roll just so I could submit it to his channel so that he could, like, could talk about it and evaluate it or whatever, and maybe I probably do that before I actually do the video, just because I'm just gonna give him a bunch of footage and just kind of get, like, just get his take on it.
There is going to be a shelf here. I mean, I just removed it until I've got the video wires run, just because it's a lot easier to work. This is going to be where the Saturn and the PS1 go right here. I've kind of got things roughly grouped by generation, and I decided, sorry, but Master System, you're too dang wide or long or whatever.
Oh yeah. Like the most obnoxious systems in my setup, I feel, are the Master System and the Super Graphics.
Yeah, like and it's like, I have zero desire to actually play on my Master System, so it's like, I'm sorry, like, in theory, I want to have this hooked up all the time, but if I really need footage from an actual Master System, you can get it. Because my Master System is one of those that looks dark anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, there's no reason. So the reason this shelf right here, there's only one middle shelf on this side. This is so tall. This is where I'm putting the Genesis. So the Genesis is going to be Sega CD Genesis and have enough room for the Power Base Mini. So, because, let's be real. Like, if I'm going to play Master System on anything that is real hardware, or at least real hardware adjacent, it's going to be on the Genesis. Like, I just have no desire to play on the actual Master System. I wish I did.
I get it. Like, I don't either most of the time.
And I wish it could be part of the setup, but it is what's part of my philosophy with what I'm doing is I'm simplifying things to some extent, and that goes for the other side of the room as well. Where the other side of the room is mostly stuff with, like, composite and S-video connections, and sometimes you need to do that kind of thing. And I had things way overcomplicated. I've already pulled out a bunch of stuff. Simple. It's going to be simple. I just want, it's going to be less about, like, I found that the systems on that side that I, like, have set up for composite and S-video, I am pulling them out to shoot B-roll of them more often than I'm actually, like, using these composite and S-video connections that I've run to them. And it's like I'm putting so much more wear and tear on their ports.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like, so I'm just going to have, like, the connections available and accessible, and it's like, okay, I want to record PC Engine with composite, and I will
just have it wired up.
I'll hook it up, but otherwise I might just leave it sitting there, not hooked up, and I'll have the
right.
I mean, I'm still figuring out how I want to do it exactly, but
well, that's kind of the thing.
That's kind of where I'm headed with that, I guess.
Right. I got so carried away with like saying like I feel as though I need to have everything hooked up in a way that I can get anything I want at any time.
And for
But
like the
then you like
RGB,
descend it like you do actually descend into madness trying to do that, and then you get it working, and then it's just like it is something else.
yeah,
And then
well, with
like the worst
RGB
is
and
when
component,
something
I
stops
do want
working
to
and
have
you're
it
like
like
trying to
that,
get
but
stuff done and you don't know why it happened, and it's just like, oh, something came loose somewhere.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, the RGB and component stuff, like this stuff. I mean, with the shelves. I mean, those things were relatively static. I mean, the cables connections. The main. This is like the main retro setup. This stuff
Yeah.
does stay relatively static. You know, so I can usually
Yeah.
count on nothing weird happening, and it'll work.
Yeah.
This is
There was a $5 donation from Fenris Wolf Retro. Thank you.
thank
It's hard
you.
to say that out loud, actually. Fenris Wolf Retro. It's like the Wolf Retro. Is that makes it hard to say. It's saying all Try needs now is RGB LEDs, and you'll have a setup that also doubles as rave decor.
Well, I do have the lights in this room are LED
Yeah,
colored,
they're
but
the, they're
since
the
I'm
same
using
ones,
my
like some of the same
phone
ones I
for
have.
part of the stream, I'm not gonna show it.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is the way I set it up in my basement too, where all of my stuff are like all my lights down here, except for the I guess the like the shop lights that I have. Like there's a couple of them that are like above the drop ceiling, and like those are just like the main lights down here. But like all the other bulbs down here are uh, smart bulbs or whatever, because I like to put it all like on a like I can just turn it all off at the night, like at night, and I
No,
can make them different colors if I
you've
need
got a
to, and different
situation where
brightness.
you actually turn off like your you like your surge protectors like actually power off.
Well, I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that once I started like using like UPSs
Oh,
for
okay.
like everything is kind of going through a UPS now, so I can't.
Yeah, I don't have. I do want to get a UPS for this room eventually, but
Mhm.
I right now I've got one for downstairs and I've got one for my computer set, which is on the other side of this wall.
Right. Well, the main reason I got them is mainly for the like what is it the like the sine wave like the keeps everything like voltage over voltage protection or whatever, where it just keeps everything at like uh 1 voltage, and if like there's a spike, it doesn't affect that at all. And I just run everything through because I was having a problem where I don't know if it's just like there is like the power plant is like kind of close to here, and it seems like during the summer sometimes I would get like maybe a quick little like surge of something. It doesn't damage anything, but what it was doing was is popping out the what's the little button on the on an outlet called
Oh,
GCFI. It was popping that out. So I switched out that outlet to a one that does not have a GCFI, and then I plugged in a UPS, and then you
see,
plug in the
so for the people who maybe don't know how this room works, is I've got holes with a sort of a finished like brush cover that's kind of like it's like a power outlet socket,
mhm.
but it's got these brushes and it actually goes all the way through the wall, and so there's like HDMI cables, USB cables, stuff like that. So that's how I can actually capture these systems. Because the HDMI goes to an HDMI switcher that ultimately goes out. I'm going to pass that through a splitter now, so I can also see like the RetroTink and stuff on this monitor in here. But yeah, basically that's how I can capture stuff from with the computer being in the other room.
Yeah. Yes, it's power conditioning. I had a power conditioner, like a standalone one before, and then I just got one that has like on a UPS also. So I have like 3 UPS down here now.
I don't know if I think I might have seen Show in the chat at some point. I don't know if he's here, but this cable, this hole is a little higher than the one next to it because this is for the Famicom with the FDS on top. And I need to send him I still need to send him my FDS for him to work on it.
Sean Quinn is saying, have you ever considered a whole house surge protector? I've never even that was a thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Sounds cool.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the house that I am living in now, is that since it's newer, like all the electrical is like underground. So it gets really windy up here, which is fine because there's no like the electricity is not going, like it's not on poles. It's all underground.
You lived in a really, really old house.
Well, yeah, it was 100 years older than me. Exactly 100 years. I mean, about to the year. So it's 142 years old. But now this one's only, it was built in 97. So it's like, what, 24 years old? And that's such a weird thing, thinking about that. This house was built the same year I graduated from high school.
Keep finding that as I'm running the cable, like,
install it where the power comes into your house near the breaker panel. Like my breaker panel is like literally
so
right there.
Unseat it from the G SCART and then get the twist out and then put it back in. I'm running the SCART for the NES now.
I don't. Destiny FOMO. There's no link to the TV stand, but it's just like IKEA Besta. I mean, it's okay. I guess everyone already.
I mean, Besta is like highly customizable. I mean, you can get all kinds. I have an idea for a vertical Besta that I'd like to do downstairs. That's
How old do you have to be to rent a car? 25?
Huh?
Joe Baumgartner is saying, "Wow, your house is too young to rent a car." And I'm thinking, you have to be 25 to rent a car, I think.
Is that right? I didn't know. So, I see here that that NES SCART ended up going under the SCART that I have going into the...
You pull it out?
Under the SCART that I have going to the retro tank, and I don't like that.
Oh, interesting.
And by the way, right now, like the retro tank is just like hooked up only it, but I'm going to have things in such a way where, you know, when I want to do something with the OSSC, I can do that quite easily. Like I'm not going to, you know, I was considering, I mean, I just don't want to have both hooked up at the same time, because then that means I have to, you know, come up with ways to split the signal more times, and I feel like you just run a greater risk of,
right,
you know, not having the quality that is, you know, fair when you're making comparisons and stuff. So
yeah,
really,
that's like the scariest thing.
Yeah.
I think then we have like some issues. Like I think it was when I had first moved into this house. It was like certain cables that we were using.
Oh yeah, for component gets tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, the one of the classic ones for me, and this was the fault of an old G comp or old G SCART that I traded, because one of the old G SCARTs had a low pass filter on it that was kind of unnecessary, but those were the ones that also had the D sub outputs, and I guess those are really useful for people who do arcade stuff.
Yeah.
And so I actually traded with someone. Bob set us up to get one of the ones that it's one of the lights, and it doesn't have the low pass filter. It's got the 2 SCART outputs. I had one that had a SCART output and a D sub output, which was nice. But I did comparisons in the PS2 RGB episode where I couldn't really see it while I was editing. But if you just look really close, it's like, oh, some people are like, component looks a little sharper to me. And it's like, no, please. This is not, you should be taking away from this that they are essentially the same. The colors are a little different, but it's not really that one is good, better, or worse than the other. Their colors are a little different, but the sharpness and cleanliness of the image, essentially the same. But
we have like a crisis of like thinking that the way we've been doing certain things has been wrong the whole time, like every year, I think.
And you know what? Most people probably, because they don't like make stuff where they don't make videos where that kind of stuff matters. Like they don't worry about it as much. But like, I mean, we were like having a crisis with like capture cards earlier this year, and
yeah,
it's not entirely settled. I mean, there's like certain things. It's like it's really, really, really difficult to do optimal retro capture and optimal 4K HDR capture with the same card.
Mm-hmm.
Really difficult.
Yeah, it's good, but then it ends up like costing money every time. I guess is like that's the most frustrating thing, and it always it's frustrating to dial everything in to like once you kind of figure out what might be the problem, I guess. Or the culprit, I guess.
One piece of advice I have, is someone who has, had many pieces of furniture that I have had holes drilled into, thanks to my dad being so patient with me. I always have marked where I want the holes. Like I just I put a dot in the middle, and then we use that as the center point for where the hole saw goes. But when we cut the holes today, I said, you know what? Make the bottom, the dot, where the dot is, make that the bottom of the hole. Because that then gives the cable something better to rest onto. So then that way the cable kind of goes straight out of the system and then rests on the bottom of the hole rather than going downwards. And I feel like it just sits better that way.
I have to say, so you cut those holes. I have to say that when I moved to this house, it was like using a hole saw on those things was like a true revelation for me. Like before that, I was like using like a steak knife to cut a square.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you learn about the hole saw from what I've done, or?
No. My wife just had some, and she was like, "Why don't you use one of these?"
I mean, my dad's are
like,
so old. I mean, some of the sizes we were using today, I mean, they're so dull because I mean, he's used them so many times. We always this is his suggestion. I mean, we always take like a piece of scrap wood and then we put the backing, we put the backing against it and then drill into that wood, because if you don't, then like it kind of blows out a lot more jaggedly on the other side. But if you like press like a piece of scrap wood that you're okay drilling into, then the other side ends up being much cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, we sand it down and stuff. We sand down the insides.
I mean, I go like halfway on one side. But the ones that my wife had are these. I'm not sure if this is like what all hole saws are, but it's like it goes on a drill, and you can drill through, and then that means you have that main like that center hole.
Yeah.
Okay, so
drill.
that's just like how
we put it on my drill. That's what we do.
You know, I just got. Sometimes I will get added to. Okay, finally. I got added to like some mailing list for like some. I don't know. Some people just like, take the My Life in Gaming email address and just put it on their mailing list. So we just get stuff, and I always like unsubscribe if it's just like, where did this even come from? And I tried to unsubscribe from this one that I just started getting messages from, and it wouldn't let me do it. It's like something has gone wrong every time.
Huh.
But I just got another email from it, and I was able to unsubscribe then.
This right here, this is the only. This one with this gray wire. This is the only. And I use it with my Super Nintendo.
I think that you'd be better off just like pointing at the camera behind you. There you go. There you go.
This one is the only.
That's an early.
It's a relatively early-ish. It's a C-Sync, and I've never had any problems with it. It's the only one that isn't like, the where. Don't I have
and you use that for your NES, right?
I use it with my Super Nintendo actually.
Okay.
But like every single other cable I have in this setup is the thicker coaxial shielded one. This is the only one that's thinner.
There was $5 from Ben B, or Ben Brody.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, I'm going to watch this by only watching the tiny video of Trite in the lower right-hand corner of his screen. Also, sausage and onion pizza is delicious. Has that sausage. Oh, I didn't even notice that little screen.
What, my
little
monitor?
video screen. Yeah, it's just like, very, very tiny down there.
Yeah, well, that's OBS.
Yeah.
It's I want, obviously, PVMs go on each side of this monitor. They're in the other room for now, but I do want to get another monitor to put on top of the right PVM, because then I can have a full mirror of both screens out there in here.
Someone was asking. I lost it here. Saying Meme Masters is asking, is there enough space to remove the carts from that Genesis? It looks a bit snug. I mean, you can have a 32X in there, I'm sure.
It's not snug at all. It's actually, the reason this one is so high, it's probably just the way that camera angle is, but it's enough to remove Power Base Mini and Master System. That's the reason this is actually in it, is because the Genesis was the biggest problem here. There's also room here to remove Neo Geo as well. So yeah, the Genesis was a big problem, and if the Genesis didn't need so much room, maybe I could have still worked in the Master System, because the Master System would have had to have been its own. It would have been the only system that is so wide that it just couldn't have anything else next to it.
So in my setup, mine is like mounted on the wall, but it goes around a corner a little bit. It turns a little corner, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And I took my really big systems and put them as the corner
I see. So
So
they're at an angle. I mean that probably looks really cool.
yeah, know what systems are at an angle? We got the Super Graphics, the Master System, and the 3DO.
What about the PS5?
The PS5 is like going to be at an angle. It's like the PS5 is like basically right there, and it will be if like I ever fill up these shelves with anything else.
Uh-huh.
Unsung Game Creators is saying there's a hole saw. You've just changed my life. Yep. I mean, I felt the same way. I was like, how have I not been using this? And it definitely do it over like a trash can.
You just put it on a drill.
I know, but do it over a trash can because it makes a mess. I could probably put my camera like on an HDMI cable and show different things, like so we can compare how we do things.
Huh?
I said I could probably plug in my GH5 into an HDMI and
Of course,
we
this
could,
is
like,
no replacement for our.
oh, definitely not.
And remember, I mean, we've said many times, but not everyone is here every time. We're planning to do. Each of us are going to do our own tour video.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll be able to replace the carpet downstairs later this year because it's really poor quality carpet and it has not held up very well. And so I'm hoping to at least change it in the living room because that's where it's worn the worst. So once I do that and then get, maybe I'll do another stream rewiring there because I mean I'm not planning to change a lot down there. It's pretty good. It's just there's one aspect I want to change, but for the most part downstairs is in a pretty good situation. But I'm obviously just gonna have to move it out of the way to get the carpet replaced. But once that's done, that is when I'm going to make my tour video, my updated tour video. That's like this and the carpet downstairs was the things I was waiting on before I get to that.
There's $5 Canadian from the importer.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Saying there's something I don't miss ever since switching to a Mister. Take care, guys. And I get that. I can get that.
The importer.
I mean, I am totally convinced that if I was like starting from scratch, like I wouldn't do it. Like Mister would be all I had.
I also appreciate the importer switching to Mister, for
oh right, yeah,
extra systems that I have available to show in various episodes.
Oh, the alarm. Some people are asking about the alarm clock, and I'm thinking that's the same alarm clock that my brother had.
Well, I never knew how common that clock was until I saw it. What was that? What was the document? I feel bad. I'm drawing a blank on the name. The documentary on the retro game stores.
Oh, not for resale.
Yes, there was a shot in the video game museum. Of a retro room. It was like, just like a room in the museum that was supposed to look like an 80s room. And this clock was in it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have that clock. And then like, since then, like I've suddenly been enlightened to like everyone being like, that's my clock. Like apparently everyone had this clock. Like I couldn't tell you how long I've had this clock, but I like it. This is my retro room, so it belongs in here.
There is $5 from Justin Sisson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying going through this myself right now. Good luck. D- Do you every time you hear the words "good luck"? Do you always like hear it in the Star Fox voice?
I mean, it definitely comes to mind. I also it's actually kind of a weirdly similar tone. I also think of you know, there's the two policemen that drive Leon to the village in Resident Evil 4, and one of them goes,
Hmm.
"Good luck." it's it's kind of a similar tone but different. Think do I only have? Oh no, I there's one more after this. Where's my Dreamcast cable? It's somewhere.
I would say it says "good luck" even in the original.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the few voice samples they probably reused.
Is it? It's surely not the exact same sample, is it?
I think it's pretty darn close. I think it almost sounds a little bit slower in 64.
Huh. I never really thought about it being the same. I never thought about that at all.
Yeah, that's like one of the few things that I think is been carried over between them. Yeah, you get the reverb with the Super Nintendo version.
Now here's where I've kind of got a good bit more slack than I would really want to have. So,
But you can just have that extra slack at the bottom. Like just I
well, but it's not a whole ton.
there was
I
$2
might just make a
from
little bit of a loop
Lutra
outside.
and Hydrus,
Well, thank you.
Lutra and saying try. Thanks for the advice the other day.
Oh yes, I remember responding to that avatar.
Honestly, hearing that the Analog Pocket was delayed until December 2021, I was like, wait, was it supposed to come out sooner than that? When I have no idea when it
I
was
was the
supposed to come
same
out.
way.
Like
I
now
was
I'm thinking December. I I saw it's supposed to come out in December. That seems really soon. It just shows you how closely I've been really paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a huge bummer for everyone who's looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it too. But it's just I am always relieved when something that we are definitely going to have to review gets delayed.
Yeah, especially stuff like that where it's got to be it's got to hit that embargo date. Oh, there's $10 from Destiny FOMO. Thank you. Saying I'll be going through this in a few weeks. Good to see I'm not alone in this struggle. Have a good night, dudes. Thank you. Thank you. It's fun, but I think that how much time that I've spent on it myself in this basement, now it's started to feel like I'm just looking. I'm just looking for stuff to change up.
Well,
And it's kind of dumb, and I feel good about it now, but I'm just oh well, why don't I run this cable instead? And it's just it's dumb. It's just dumb because there's no reason to be doing like half the things that I've done.
I wonder if, most of the time I left the lid off of the PC Engine. I mean, I don't know where I would store the lid. I'll leave it on it for now, though.
What if you opened up the lid on your suitcase PC Engine and inside it looked the same, but when you actually went to plug a Q card into it, it turned out that your PC Engine was replaced with a cake that looked like a PC Engine.
At first, I thought you were going to go for a Pulp Fiction thing because I used this case for that gag and that.
Oh yeah. No, but like, what if it was just someone put a PC Engine cake in there?
I mean, I'm sure someone has made.
The only reason I think about that is because it has the top on it, and it probably months go by where you don't even like look at it. You don't look what's underneath that cover.
Yeah. Where's my Dreamcast cable? Not that it's very useful until my 20L5 gets fixed up. But I want to run it.
I don't know. What? Your Dreamcast? We have a new system called the PC Engine Cake. It's such a stupid thing, but I was just thinking about the fact that he probably hadn't taken off the top of that in a long time.
Well, no. The top has been off actually. In the drawer.
Well, I know.
It was off.
All I'm saying is that if that was to happen, it would probably take a little while to notice.
Yeah. This is I don't know if she still has the parts, but this is because I think I heard that maybe she didn't have them at some point, but I think all the cables were back in stock, or at least a bunch were. This is the one with the RGB 15 kilohertz, 31 kilohertz cable that Retro Access makes.
I regrettably did not get one.
Yeah, I like it. It's great. Although I did request it to be made, not all that long, and I'm looking at where I'm intending to run the Dreamcast. I'm a little nervous now. I forgot how short this cable is.
Yeah. That's the scariest thing. I mean, that's the real reason when you look at my shelves, things are in the order that they're in because based entirely on the length of their cable.
Well, when I have bought the cables, I have asked for small dimensions oftentimes because I was like, oh, this I don't want it to be too long, and I don't want a ton of extra slack. So, I'm like, oh, just make it this long, and then I might regret it. I might regret it now. Let's see.
There was $1 from Mike Oxlittle with no comment, but thank you.
Thank you.
James Style thinks that my PC Engine cake thing, the revelation, if it was a PC Engine was a cake, James Style thinks it's pretty funny. I don't know where that came from.
I think the Dreamcast is going to be okay.
Outlaw Scorn is asking, just curious, but why is he redoing all of his wires so late? And the thing is
I've actually
he's been doing it literally all day.
Yeah.
So he started.
Yeah.
We should have really. If I didn't have to work today, I would have gone.
Well, I mean,
we could have just done this all day long.
All day included getting these holes cut, which took longer than I expected.
That would have been a fun stream, though. Maybe next time you should just straight up do a whole saw cutting stream.
I don't think my dad would be too into that. I'm too much of a wuss to do it myself. I mean, he's got the experience, you know.
Yeah. I use the whole saw to run wires from above my drop ceiling. Even if you think that cutting hole like through the backs of those causes a mess, imagine doing that on drop ceiling tiles.
Okay, now let's
you look
think.
like Scarface after you're done with it.
What more do I need to run through here? I need to run the PVM output cable for both RGB and component, but the RGB is just going to be the female SCART, and then I'll make the connection outside there somewhere. Where's the cable?
Zane's dad cannot believe that you're barefoot, and I can't. Like, if you're on carpet, I would just be barefoot all the time.
I mean, I wear slippers in the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be wearing like socks on the carpet while working with electronics.
Yeah. Wearing slippers, like,
I mean, does Zane's dad like not? Oh, it would kill your feet. Oh my gosh! Like I am all about carpet. Like I do not get like the hardwood craze. I don't get it at all because carpet feels good. Where? Oh, did I put it up here? It's up here. Oh wait. Wait. Oh. Ooh. This is pretty short. My G-SCARTs were a little closer to the PVM before, so this is going to have to be extended.
You know, you're talking about the slippers, and I was never a big slipper wearer until I moved to this house, and in the basement it's like, I mean, I put like a lot of rugs down here, but there's definitely some areas where it's like concrete, but it has like the vinyl flooring on it, so it gets kind of cold. But man, I just look like sometimes like in the middle of the winter, like especially last year, last winter, it was just like the schlubbiest looking guy walking around in this house, like. I like had like a hoodie on and then a pair of shorts and then slippers that are like kind of like flannel slippers and then, like no socks with them. It's just like it's like I would never be seen outside of this house, and I like, I always tell my wife like how like you've got to be so attracted to me at this point. Is this your favorite look for me?
Let's see.
Yeah, I guess I kind of do kind of look like a drug dealer when that's the case, but at the same time, it's very I guess Lebowski-esque as well.
Okay, well, I'll be okay on component out to the PVM at least.
Powder Keg, we are going to the Retro World Expo.
At least we're hoping.
Yeah. Outside of that, though, I'm going to be going up to the Torgs convention in Columbus just because I want to go. I think it's on the 25th. I'm going to be meeting up with The 8-bit Duke. That is like basically my entire game library back there, and it's I like to call it the library. That's like how I always refer to it, because there are people out there. I'm sure nobody in this chat, but that would like judge somebody for like having that many video games, but at the same time, and that person would not judge somebody for having a wall like that full of books. So I'm like, it's a library.
It is.
A library of games. There's $2 from Warren Hokie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying Sandy is the goodest woofer.
Sandy, has she appeared on? Has she been here and here?
She has. She's been in there for a second. There's also 1090, I think, reals from Pedro ATMC.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying, this is Pilates money. My back hurts just watching.
You know, I definitely had some of my first, you know, true old man back pain working on the setup. You can't see it from where we are now, but on the other corner of the room, like a year and a half ago, I was like crouched in the corner. Not really crouched. I was just like really in the corner working on something for too long, and then like it was bad. Like it was real bad. Like I went to the doctor and everything.
But I guess it looks like I have, I guess, like seeing like the games like all on one wall like this. When in the old house, it was like inside this room, but it was on both walls in there. But when you have it all here, it's like on one long wall. I mean, arguably, this is like the same amount of space as the old house as I had in the old house, but it's just like one big long passage instead.
I'm trying to figure out.
It does kind of feel like when you come down to the basement here and you go around the corner and you see this, it feels like stepping into another world, though. Because you see like the rest of the basement and everything before this, and it's kind of like, oh, it's a finished basement, but there's like not anything out of like ultra nice. And then you come around the corner, it's like, oh.
I'm trying to figure out if I've got what I really need to finish the run to the PDM for the RGB cables. I might figure out that aspect later.
There's $5 from Robert Hernandez. Thank you. Saying,
Thank you.
do you guys prefer your gaming setups with or without an AV head unit? I'm unsure if I should keep my unit in place during the next rewire. I'm not sure what is an AV head unit.
That makes me think of like a 4-head VCR or something like that.
Yeah.
We probably sound really ignorant right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Jay Borner, it's like a half a butcher block, I think. Like I'm not sure if that would be considered like a straight up butcher block. There's $1 from Powder Keg saying, I got 25-cent donation for every push-up can do on stream.
Oh, apparently AV head unit is another word for a receiver. I mean, for my main HDMI stuff, I do like to have one because I want to have, you know, for one, it's much easier to switch and split out HDMI signals with one and get, you know, surround sound. Here, I just have 2 speakers mounted on the wall. You can see one of them here. I'm only concerned about just getting dual speakers for here. I might get a subwoofer in here later, but I'm just happy with 2 speakers for this room. I actually bought, and I'm going to trade it to Coury because I bought something that I thought was going to be what was a good pick for me. It turns out it's a better pick for Coury, and I bought another thing that'll be arriving next week. But I'm just getting a small. It's a tube amp. I don't really care about the tube aspect of it, really. But it's just one of the less expensive things I can find that has, 2.1 output, 2 RCA inputs, an optical input, and even a PC connection with USB. I'm going to put it here next to the Genesis. And I'm actually right now trying to figure out where in all that I haven't used this in years. I think this may have appeared in the first tour video. It's this 2 to 1.
Yeah.
I really only need 1 output, but it's a Toslink optical audio switcher. And I'm that and the HDMI switcher, I'm still trying to figure out where they go because I want to run, I've got the digital audio mod for Super Nintendo. I'd like to run it out of that, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox. I guess that might be it. That's probably it. But yeah, I'd like to run optical audio out of those. I just haven't figured out where I want to put this. Because I was fixing to run this optical cable. I've got the Xbox cable that has like the little thing that you stick the optical cable into the AV out.
Mm-hmm.
This one, if you can see it at all. But where am I going to run this to? It might actually be time to go ahead and bring the PVMs in because I don't have a firm idea of how much space I'm going to have like on either side of them. I know it's going to be less space than I had with the previous setup. So it might be time to bring them in. Unfortunately, I've kind of got one of my, less attractive PVMs, but still a good one. It's just a little dirtier looking. It's going to be standing in for the 20L5 for now until I can get it worked on.
There was a $5 donation via Streamlabs that I missed from 7 minutes ago from Pete Peterson. Pete, if you're still here, I'm sorry. Saying I have 9 systems hooked up to my TV, and while it works, I never again want to look at the wire mess behind the TVs. If something stops working, I'm moving.
If it's hidden, it's hidden.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. It's just that, I think when I first was setting up my stuff here, I was like, I'm gonna make labels for every single cable so I know what it is, and that lasted for less than a day. Does anybody want me to see if I can hook up a camera so we can compare how things are hooked up?
Well,
I'll be a little window, but that's okay.
Will you be walking away from your microphone?
I'll just turn on the shotgun mic.
Okay.
But I'll only do it if people want me to.
Will a new AV receiver have ProLogic 2? I don't know. I'm not concerned with ProLogic 2. I mean, I
think it's still supported. The $2 Canadian from Bowie. Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure that ProLogic is still supported and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not that concerned with it because, to me, that era is not really about surround sound. I just don't know how much I even, really trust ProLogic. to like really be accurate surround sound. I don't know. I used to use it a little bit with. I actually, the reason I'm getting this new little amp to go in the next to the Genesis there is because the first AV receiver I ever got in 2006, it's been pretty flaky, and I'm I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna see if there's like any cool components just that look cool that I want to keep, but otherwise I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna throw it out. It doesn't work very well anymore. Oh, there was a super chat come in from Resident Gaming. Thank you. Saying, thank you guys for letting me know about the Analog Pocket. This is the first analog system I absolutely have to have. Yeah, I mean, the Analog Pocket is definitely unique for its, that is one aspect that, it can really compete against Mister with, for sure, just because of the portable nature. I'm really curious how I will use it in the long term, because the portability aspect of it seems to excite a lot of people, and I'm not especially excited about the portability. I'm really curious to see the screen. I'm curious to dock it, and I'm sure I'll use it some for portability, certainly to do a review, but I'm curious how I will use it long term, because I'm not as much of a handheld gaming person necessarily. I'm curious. Also, why did I bring in the Wii and the Xbox into this room when I need to get these PVMs in so I can figure out where that optical switch is going? All right. PVM lifting time. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Oh, that's right. That's not going to work. Hang on 1 second. Here's one. Okay. Let's see. I want to have these centered to each seat here. This one. Oh, now you come and see if I'm okay. Yeah, you sleepy? Oh. You sleepy? Yeah, you've been napping all evening. There was too much interesting stuff going on while we were cutting the holes and everything for you to get any good sleep earlier today, huh?
You know. Do we use Streamlabs? Yeah, Streamlabs is what, you know, the pop-ups.
What?
But we don't use Streamlabs OBS.
Oh, did something come in via?
I can't hear you very well.
I know, I'm far away. I'll be right there. I know.
Oh. $10 from Nathan Palmer. Thank you. Saying, dog. Yeah, good fluffums. Good fluffums. See yourself there, Sandy? Oh, $2 from Eric S. Is that Eric Schussler? I'm not sure. Thank you. So 2021 sub tour video tours, please. Yes. Like I said before, it's going to be 2 videos. One from Coury, one from me. We're going to do them separately. You know, we'll hopefully do, you know, I didn't want to do it until I got this new furniture in here that I was planning to get. How old is Sandy? Sandy is, she'll be 4 next month. There was $5 from Master Safer. Thank you. Sandy! Sandy! You're looking at me funny. Sandy! 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 Do you want? Do you want? You always want. What's wrong with the 20L5? It turns on and off randomly, which is it was I didn't feel comfortable using it anymore, especially because Coury reminded me that one of his friends had his 20L5 catch on fire when it was also having trouble turning on and staying on sometimes. I'm going to have Steve look at it. Hopefully it's just a recapping situation. I don't know. But for now, I just have a spare M2. It's just, you know, gotta have backup PVMs, right? I just have a spare one in here for now. So, you know, I can't use really 480p right here. I can use it through the RetroTink, of course. So, I don't know if Coury thinks that we can hear him because we can't.
You can't hear me?
Oh, have you been talking?
No.
Oh, okay,
I just turned it on here.
Oh, okay. And there was 499 from Dan Falter. Thank you, saying you're about to hook up that Xbox, and the settings do you set is widescreen TV? Does it stretch to 4:3 games? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever done that. Maybe I wonder if if you have to do that for widescreen games, I mean, I have to confess, I am not ultra knowledgeable about the Xbox library overall, and what games might support widescreen and stuff like that. But one thing I do remember was when we tested out Soul Calibur 2, I didn't see a widescreen mode in that. Even when using 720p, 720p was 4:3. And I know the GameCube version has widescreen. I wonder if you have to have your Xbox set to 4:3, or maybe I just didn't find the widescreen setting, or maybe it wasn't available on the resolution we were trying or something. I don't know. I actually do not know the answer to that. 5 pounds from Dr. Lilo. Thank you. Wondering if either of those CRTs support 480p or higher, or are they both 15 kilohertz? They are both only 15 kilohertz. Normally, this one on the right here, I have a 20L5, which I consider my main PVM. But like I said before, it needs work. That one does do 240p, 480i, then the PAL variants, as well as 480p, 720p, 1080i. But for now, I just this one. You probably can't really tell on the stream, but it's not as pretty. It's a little dirtier. I haven't been able to get it as clean. The one they're both basically the same model. That one is branded Olympus, but it's still a Sony tube. It's the exact same device as the 20. Well, actually, this is a 20L2 MD. But I've got another one that's a 20 M2 MDU. That Olympus is exactly the same. Exactly. And the quality on the L2 is basically the same as the L2. The thing I like about the M2 / Olympus is that it's got built two RGB inputs, or one could be RGB, one could be component. The L2 and the 20L5 have to have an expansion card to have two inputs. So.
Oh yeah, I don't have socks on either.
We're falling behind on donations.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I've seen that $5.
You haven't really said much about yourself yet. There was $5 from Resonant Gaming. I believe when you were still reading the suggestions, I think there was one from Resonant Gaming, or maybe I got confused. There's another very technical question. I'm not sure you guys even have the answer, but here it goes. Deep breath. Sandy! Sandy's just got some of her fur stuck in her mouth, and she's just staring at me. It's like slowly falling out of her mouth. Why is that fur in your mouth?
Oh, I wasn't anticipating I thought you were gonna just continue on, and I was gonna I can compare certain I don't know. If you're gonna do certain things, I would say, oh,
well, the main thing I wanted to try right now is I want to figure out, okay, how do I want these PVMs positioned? I believe they should be pretty close to the monitor for them to be centered, but I was really curious how much room I might have on the sides. Like if I have room for an HDMI switcher or the optical switcher. Like this HDMI switcher, would not be a great fit there. And the 20L5 is wider, I believe, slightly wider because it's got the controls on the side. So I don't know. I might. But of course, I could always put an HDMI switcher under this monitor. That might work.
Yeah. See, there was a point where I was thinking, I can put a 14-inch underneath my OLED. But then I was like, actually, it's not so bad because where my recliner is, kind of perfectly is just in front of this if I wanted to sit and play on there. But I almost never do. I mean, this is what I usually sit at.
Well, one thing that was extremely annoying with, that old drawer system that I was using, So when I decided it was probably not a good idea to use the 20L5 until I could get it worked on, and I put this one in. Well, this one has to have an expansion card to have, a component or another RGB input. And the way that I had the cables run so tightly, this is why I'm saying that, like, over managing your wires is a bad idea. The way I had them pulled so tightly, I could not reach the component input. I could not reach the expansion card because it was a longer reach to the expansion card on this PVM compared to the 20L5. So I had to swap on the lower one RGB and component whenever I needed to switch to one or the other. It was a pain in the butt. But now, that I'm not over managing my wires with this setup, I don't have to worry about that so much, really. So
Someone was asking if all my systems are hooked up, and all of them are hooked up except for these ones up here, which are duplicates, and those are all systems that I have ODEs in that I can swap out really quick if I want to play disc games. You can kind of see them up here, I guess. But when I was saying about the systems on the corner, you can kind of see it right here. Like, there's the master system. You see how I have it, like, kind of cornered here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, that's where the master system will fit.
I'm trying to see if I can...
graphics down there.
See, like, about where would the Wii remote be? I'm trying to put my head in the approximate location of a Wii remote, so I can see if I could see the sensor bar clearly enough. I think the sensor bar would be fine like this.
But no, everything is hooked up except for those, and I really tried to hide all the wiring, and I use these, I guess raceways they're called or something like that for like Ethernet cables, and that's everything is running. I'll walk over here and show. Actually, let me do this. This might make it easier to see.
Make sure everything's going to be centered over to this seat. Centered enough. I've honestly been really conflicted. I've been tempted to put this Olympus PVM in, I consider the rightmost seat over here for the right PVM. I consider that the main seat. I've been really tempted to put that Olympus in the main seat. Because
you should.
I really like it. Like, I feel like the 2005 looks amazing. I mean, obviously it can do 480p. It looks amazing for 240p as well. But 480i I think looks better on the slightly lower grade models, because the higher line count PVMs have this thing where you'll sort of see each field. Like, here's a field, of two alternating lines, but there's this gap right here. You can sort of see an empty gap between each field pair, like this. So, whereas, on the lower line count models, they all bump up to each other like this.
Right.
It feels like a much more contiguous picture.
Yeah.
And because of that, and because like honestly, like I mean, I don't know how much I care about 480p on these. Part of me almost wants to use 480p on the RetroTink and 1440p on this monitor more than I want on the 20L5. I mean, maybe that sounds crazy. The 480p looks dark sometimes,
Yeah.
on a PVM.
It does, yeah. So this just showed up in the mail today.
Oh.
I have no musical ability, but I'm going to attempt
Oh, that's right. That's right.
to use it.
You're going to just see how it goes, huh?
Yeah. Tool around with it a bit, see what happens.
So
someone was asking, what?
Did you say tootle around?
No, I'm going to tool around with it.
Tootle around.
I can kind of show what's going on behind. Like you can the wires behind my setup. They're they're impossible to control at a certain point. I can kind of show.
You need to embrace that. Like I say.
Yeah, totally.
If you can't see it,
Yeah, I agree. There we go. I can kind of show what's going on here real quick.
All right. I think I have this pretty good. Pretty good. How far in are we looking at here? Measurements line up. We are definitely close enough to center, especially considering this PVM is not always going to be here. It's going to be the 2005 later. So this is pretty good. I'd say it's pretty centered.
But probably the thing that I'm most proud of is how I installed the in-wall speakers.
Oh yeah.
And my rear speakers are in-ceiling speakers.
Ah. So does surround sound work pretty? Do you like how it works? Because I mean, when I set up my first surround sound system, and I heard that you're supposed to put the rear channel speakers at ear level, and I've always gone by that. I've always tried to put the rear channel speakers at ear level. So are you satisfied with how it works?
I totally am. Yeah. But you can aim this like the center, like they're shaped in a certain way to have it so that the sound goes out of them in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can kind of see they're kind of like oval a little bit.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And you can move this to point wherever you want. And this is all magnetic, cool. So it's just it just sticks on.
Well, I mean, with that kind of setup, you really need to get outermost speakers.
I know.
Because I really want outermost, but it would be a lot of work. I mean, I know you can get the kind that shoot the sound up at the ceiling, but I don't know if that's even worth it. Okay, so I believe I can put this HDMI switcher, just up here, up on top, and it'd be pretty good situation, really. In fact, I could really put it kind of far back there, honestly, because it switches on. I mean, really, it's unless I'm doing a comparison of something, there's not it's not all that likely that there's going to be two of something on.
There's $5 from Nathan Palmer. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Saying,
you.
Seeing your setups makes Digital Foundry switching between 7 consoles for testing seem almost quaint. I don't know. I think that they do, we can only do certain things because we have it like hooked up
Yeah,
already.
well, and you know, yeah. I mean, of course, I've got the HDMI system set up downstairs. I mean, and John has all the analog stuff set up too.
Yeah.
John just needs to run some cables to his some analog cables to his desk though, so he can actually stream without lag.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if Discart is still in the chat, but one thing he always would comment on is like having a plant. Someone, oh, you have a plant in your game room. So I was like, I'm gonna have a plant because it just like adds a little life, a little color.
I was thinking about your plant.
You kind of want to get one now.
Ease 3, and I was thinking you need to like get this like really nice wooden sign and like put like hang above your plant and that says this harb is all I want.
Okay, I should do that.
this harb is all I want. I want this harb.
There he is. Try, it's watching you.
Huh?
It's watching you.
Oh, the king slime.
What do you think about my little premiere painting?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So
the only thing that
my wife made them for something at work like a couple years ago.
The color of Premiere changes all the time.
Yeah, it's just like something that. So my wife made them for like a thing at work, and and she like took 2 of them. She took like she has the Photoshop one, and I have the Premiere one.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. There's $5 Canadian from Christopher Foss. Thank you. Saying, what IKEA furniture try using? Thank you for all the content over the years.
This is Besta, which, I mean, it's kind of a modular, customizable unit. And I'm going to get the Besta doors that go on it, but the ones that I wanted were out of stock, so I'm just going to have to keep an eye on stock and go back some other time.
These are all Besta, too.
The countertop, I forget what it's called, but if you just go to the IKEA website and search for countertop, it's like the one that's like, it's the cheapest one. I was going to say $70, but Canadian, I'm sure it's different. But it's the cheapest countertop. There were several countertops, but it was the cheapest one. The only reason I'm doing the countertop is because the Besta is only just deep enough to hold the feet of a PVM, of a 20-inch PVM. If it would hold it, but there would be so much hanging off, and I thought it would look stupid. So that's why I got the countertop to put on top of the Besta. But like downstairs I've got Calyx units. I've got a Brusali TV stand. In there I've got Svalnus shelving for my games. I love Svalnus. I feel like that's an IKEA system that people don't talk about as much as I would expect. It's pretty amazing shelving.
Yes, it is a Laserdisc player. My battery's going to die. Let me just grab a different battery.
So I think I'm going to put the HDMI switcher there. Ugh, and now I just need to plug it in somehow. So now I've got that there. Where do I want to put the fiber. The fiber audio switcher. Where is it? How did I get it? There you go.
This stream is hilarious. Well, that's what we do.
Where do I want to put this? Do I have a remote for this? Or do I need to push the button? Is there a remote for this? I haven't used this in years.
Someone's asking about controllers. I all my wireless controllers I just mount up here, or at least.
I moved my like wireless charging stations. It's like Calyx, but it's the old version of it that they used to call Expedite. I got the door inserts for those at IKEA some time back. And I cut holes in the back of it so that I could run the charging cables in for like charge stations and stuff. Because like some things like, okay, let's be honest, I love the Wii U and all, but most of the time that gamepad is just collecting dust.
Yeah.
And I like to leave it charged on the dock and stuff, but you know, I thought it would be better to put it inside like a door system. So that it wouldn't get dusty. So, yeah, I've been playing those. I've been playing them in drawers. In this room, I'm probably mostly going to be using real controllers. Like that Famicom has a 2.4G receiver in it, but that I'm probably not going to actually leave it like that.
For me, I have this thing, and this for my wired controllers. Like most of mine go right in this thing, but then my big ottoman, I can show you what's inside this if you want to see it. It's kind of out of control.
Where do I want to put this optical switcher? I can't decide. I don't really want it out because it's kind of ugly because the one side has the inputs and the other side has the outputs, so there's no like totally clean side to it. But there's not really room down here where the RetroTink and the G-SCARTs and stuff are.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that ottoman, but it's just very convenient because that's a lot of stuff that I don't really even use that often. There it is. You have number 2 of this, right?
Did you see the 38 Hong Kong dollars from One Deck HK?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying,
both setups look awesome. Living in Hong Kong means we don't have the luxury of space, so I'm living my retro life through you guys. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's
understandable.
It gets a little out of control when you hang on to all these systems over the years and you try to justify actually using them.
Yeah. So that's been like, this is what I've been mounting my camera on for the way I shoot now. It goes like right on here.
Oh, like when you shoot your on camera stuff at your desk.
Yeah. So it just goes like right on here.
I see.
And mounts, and then I got this idea for this stuff from if you're familiar with DSLR video shooter, Caleb Pike. He does like a lot of videos on like all-in-one desk setups and stuff. Scepter Sever is asking, you guys ever feel overwhelmed? And I feel overwhelmed every day. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, overwhelmed just by the setup. I mean, you know,
Sometimes, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
sometimes.
overwhelmed by things in general, absolutely.
Yeah. But just by the setup, like, I think that I do a lot. And that's why I've, like, dialed some things back. Because, I realized, like, I don't need to have, like, all, like, certain things, like, wired at all times.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
so
what I'm
the
doing is I'm scaling back. You know, the RGB setup, not much is changing here functionally, but on the other side of the room, I'm going to simplify. It's just it gets to be too much. Where do I want to put this fiber switcher? I just can't decide. And I feel like I need to do that. I need to figure that out before I put the Xbox back in place because it's.
So the way I was able to mount these to the wall is I have these metal rails. Let me focus it. And they have these shelves here, or these, they just. Do that. And I needed a specific depth of shelf that I could not find anywhere, so I was able to find insert shelves, like say like the shelves that Tri has on his consoles, or his consoles on there, but they were for like a different type of unit. So I just bought a bunch of them. I measured how much I needed, and then I like bolted them together.
I think.
And then I went and I found, when I kind of realized that I needed some more shelves, I found like less deep ones. And I realized, oh, I have enough space in between some of these to put like another layer of shelves. So I have like these shorter shelves.
I think I need to accept that the logical place to put this optical switcher is going to be inside that that amplifier, or right in front of that amplifier. I mean, it's not going to be pretty, but it's not going to be pretty anywhere I put it. I just need to put it here.
But like for me, a lot of the reason a lot of this is like this is because basically there's like the quarantine order, like basically right after I moved. So I was like using all my time to do this. I'm gonna show this back here. I'm not sure if you can really see that well, but so that's the set back there. I can do this. So if you want to see it better.
Don't you have some of your surge protectors wall mounted?
All of my surge protectors are wall mounted, actually.
Wow. And you did that with screws, I guess, and just mounted them.
Yeah, I use like the drywall anchors.
See, I don't know if I want to do that since I've got the paneling in this room, and I feel like I need to be a little choosier about what I mount.
Right.
But do like, I mean, I don't know if you even are using like the OEM power supplies for like NES and Super Nintendo.
No. What I use for everything, and this is kind of like maybe like
the PS2 Slim.
Yeah, the PS2 Slim switching power supply is essentially the way I can do a lot of the stuff without like a big power brick. So the PS2 Slim power supply is like really, really good. and you can use like pole reversals cables and like and splitters. So I have like all of my retro consoles are basically all hooked up to one PS2 power supply. I can't turn a bunch of them on at once, but I wouldn't need to. I just have that sitting like right here. So basically, that's like a big, like maybe something that maybe a lot of people don't really like know about. But who was it? I think
So
it was
how do you
Steve.
route
Steve
all,
did a test with it, and he says,
all of that though?
"What?
So they're all powered by one?
Yeah, but as long as I don't turn a bunch of them on at once,
Wow.
it
I
just
didn't
they're just
realize
like
you were doing it all
like
with just one.
I used to have using a two, but I realized like I can do it all with one and just using like splitters. You can use like the 1 to like 5 and then even split those. And like they don't go very far, but it's like I can tell you what it is. 'Cause the reason I was able to do it is because when I was at Goodwill one time, there was a big box of power supplies. And I was like, oh man, there's a bunch of PS2 slim ones in there. So I bought like 3 of them. Just so I have like a backup, Like I use one here and I use one back there if I need to power anything like at the set. So you got to use like a pole reversal, like off the bat with it, if you want to, unless you want to run it into like a Genesis 2 or something like that. But I do a pole reversal right off the bat for it. But it's this right here. This is the stats for it. So the reason I chose to do this is because Steve did a bunch of tests on it, and he's like, "This is like the cleanest power supply of like any like power like block that I've like tested."
Right.
So I mean, basically, what I have mine powering is like my Super Graphics, my Super NES, my NES, Tower of Power, Master System, my other Genesis. Sorry, it's blurry. My Super NES Junior, and maybe that's it. But I mean, that's like a bunch of systems on one.
Where?
But I mean, it's super convenient, and I feel like it's something like when a lot of people ask me like, how do you power all this stuff, like how do you handle all those power bricks, it's because I just use one PS2 PS2 Slim.
That's pretty amazing. I mean it's
You can kind of see like
you
if
kind of
look
make
right
me feel foolish for not doing that.
Yeah, you can kind of see like some of the stuff there. Like some of the wires, like adapters and stuff.
You know, well, most of these old consoles use they have a power regulator. They take in a range of power. I mean, I know the power brick says only use this, blah, blah. But they they accept a range of power, which they then convert to 5 volts that the system actually uses. The systems only use 5 volts. And so they accept a range, not a specific amount of power. They accept a range of it. So, you know.
But even like I'm pretty sure that Voltar said like, "Oh, I use this for like all my systems too." Like I don't think he has everything hooked up all at once. And the idea of, you know, connecting them all is like that's just like an idea that Steve gave me like a long time ago. It's like, oh, you can use, you know, pole reversals and stuff for the systems that need it, and it's like everything's fine. You know, it'll only be a problem if you like turn like a whole bunch of them on at once, which I'd never do.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wish everything could just be fiber optic cables, because I feel like, you know,
because they don't get any noise or interference.
There's no interference, you know?
I know. That's what I did with all mine. Like I was so paranoid, not paranoid, but just like I really made the decision like, hey, if I'm going to be putting this all together, I'm going to try to do it in a way that like I'll never essentially want it like need to change anything too drastically, you know? So like all my power cables power cables only go to these two back rails, and all the other ones are video only. So there's not like any interference.
And you know, honestly, with this setup, like, you know, this being the retro setup, like, yes, things will change. You have to accept that things will change, but since there's not going to be new consoles coming out that use analog hookups, like, even if I one day got like a CDI or a 3DO or a Jaguar, like, I gotta be honest, I don't think there would be a system that I would feel like I have to have hooked up at all times. I don't think I would be adding another system to this setup. Like, yeah. I might have it and I might use it, but it would be like set up temporarily, and I would be okay with that, because I do not need to have a Jaguar plugged in at all times. And that's not a slide at the 3DO. I just
oh yeah.
I do not have a lot of interest in the 3DO, but
I agree with you, but I only did it because I could. I only do it because I can.
Yeah.
You know, but like once I had all this, like, oh, I guess I
have room in this setup, you know?
Right. I got like my switchers down here. Brandon Hill, the main reason we choose YouTube is because that's where our audience is. You know, we when we first started streaming, we started streaming on Twitch, and then we tried YouTube like after like 3 weeks, and that was when YouTube streaming was still pretty new. But when we did that, we immediately had a ton more people, and it's like now I feel that we've especially curated our like streaming audience, especially for our Sunday night stuff. You know, our people.
Which we are going to stream tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah. This is in no way.
It feels to me like much longer than a week ago that we did that marathon.
Yeah, I was kind of. It doesn't completely for me.
I don't know. To me, it does. I need to get like a foot long or foot and a half maybe fiber cable to put in this new amp I'm getting to put in the back of it, because I'm putting this switcher, this fiber switcher, like right next to where that's going to go.
Chickawong, Dryworks freelance, and I have a full-time job, and we do the channel like as a main side thing, I guess. It's a main thing, but it's. I mean,
like
I
to
was
think
I
of
was
it as the
freelance
main thing, but
up until a year ago.
it's not as much money as you would hope it could be.
Yeah,
Maybe someday, but
maybe someday, especially if we released videos faster.
yes, we need to get much more consistent.
Yeah, and like the last 6 months, it's like that's been like entirely my fault. I've been struggling with a bit creatively, and also like motivationally and everything. But I feel as though in the last week I've had a major breakthrough. And I know that it may sound like I've said that before, but this week was actually like kind of a revelation. And I am getting back into a groove at long last. No, but that probably would help. Would have helped. Scepter Sever.
Where is this go? Oh, here we go.
There is not a lot that really fit those requirements. You won't find a lot of HDMI switches that have more than one, or they have more than 5 inputs. It just does not happen very often.
Yeah, I mean that old monoprice one was about like it in terms, aside from like expensive like matrix switches.
God, it's like right in front of my face. I'm gonna go get something to drink really quick.
Huh?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get something to drink really quick. I'll be right back.
All right, I've got all the fiber in, and now I just need to. I should order a. Maybe I could order it right now. Let's see. Like 1 foot optical cable. 1.5 foot. Yep. As what I want. That's what I want. I wish that optical switcher looked prettier, but you know, it is what it is. That's why I didn't put it up top here. Now I do want to, let's see, there's actually an HDMI splitter I have that was not being used. But which I very much do want to use. I don't think there's any reason it should have any trouble with like 1440p. Because I mean, it's, you know, 1920 by 1440 from the Retrode, so it's kind of a lower bandwidth one anyway. But I was planning to use this now so that I can actually utilize the other input on this monitor, so I can actually play the Retrode on it.
So this dual PVM setup, what kind of connection base is he using? You're using, I assume you're using are you using an Extron in here though, in this room?
Not for this part of the room. I've got stuff that I do, you know, the other side of the room is more like just video set slash, you know, if I need to record anything composite or S video. I use it more, the Extron stuff more for that. Right here, it's just two, you know, down here on this this shelf down here is two G-SCARTs linked together, dual output, one to the Retrode, one to the first PVM, and then jump that PVM to the second PVM. Same deal with the component. G-Comp, one output goes to the Retrode, one goes to the first PVM, jumps to the second PVM. It's that simple. That simple.
Jeremy, see, we'll cover that like in our setup video.
People really like that wire stuff that you don't even use it anymore, but like people like are just like, this is what I want. They
oh yeah, I mean,
ask you about all the time.
I would still be using it if I didn't have like a blank canvas when I moved in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating some made good chocolate chip granola minis.
Made good?
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, I guess, that they are that way.
I think we get these with our Misfits box. My wife does this thing called Misfits.
Oh, I think
it's like you order like vegetables, and they're like what they call like, I guess they're like weirdly shaped vegetables that they don't think would sell at a store, but are totally fine They're just like kind of weird looking. So they sell them as their own thing. You know, they just sell them for cheap, and we get a box of them of stuff delivered every week.
That's pretty cool. I love having this.
Ugly food tastes better. Yep.
I love having this access underneath. That was one big downside.
Is that an ad? If Misfits wants me to do a sponsorship for them, I would totally do a sponsorship for Misfits. Even when my wife orders stuff I don't like bok choy.
We actually like already use.
Yeah, I'd be into that. I mean, like I think I always joke and say I will bring up, if Misfits wants to send me, give me a free subscription, I will bring up Misfits in every single stream. It's in some capacity. How do we keep stuff clean? Well, I'll tell you, since I swapped out a lot of my drop ceiling panels with these soundproof ceiling panels, it's like cut down on my white dust on my consoles considerably.
Stuff gets dusty though. I mean, I don't know if there's a totally foolproof way.
I mean, I'll take my can of compressed air around them every once in a while. Really, actually, what I do is I just like grab at the hose and just like spray everything down.
You clean your stupid games at the car wash like Joe Rapp.
Yeah, exactly. I bring down the hose, but I don't put the end on it, and I stick my finger over it, so it just like sprays all over into a fine mist. And I just give my consoles a bath.
Yep, this is the way to do it.
Oh, I got Epos Vox in the chat, commenting on my new microphone. I've been recording the VO for the episode I've been working on, and it is so much easier with this thing.
Didn't you already record that VO with your old setup?
I did my on camera with it, and I did record most of it, but then I wanted to redo it with this, and it's like because that was like the last straw when I added some segments to it, and then it's like I had to do it several times because I was a little bit closer to the microphone, so and therefore it sounded completely different.
I don't know if you can see all that clearly here, but I got with my sound bar that I used to use. It might have even been in the previous tour video, or maybe it was in the 4K episode, 4K TV's episode. But that sound bar was just not working out. But it came with this figure 8, right angle power cable that I like to use for various things. I like to use it in the Xbox. It's very nice for the Xbox.
Cloud FF7 in 2000. I did notice that AVGN released a Green Dog episode yesterday. I didn't watch it. I mean, like Joe has to have some sort of like appearance in some capacity, right? I mean, you can if he does, you can spoil it for me because he should.
And just to remind people to not be alarmed at this Xbox in this tiny hole, I did There are behind the Xbox PS2 and up here on this shelf behind the Dreamcast, even though it probably doesn't really need it. I did install outtake fans, so adequate cooling.
He's not in it. That's a real miss. I bet you there's a lot of comments on that video saying, "Why isn't Joe in this video?" I've never tried doing RetroThink 5X downscale with composite.
I mean, I don't think it would be what you would hope. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to magically get, like, Sega Genesis style blending and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, because those composite artifacts are very particular to the console. NESs are different from Genesis's and different from PS2 or whatever. You know, they're all, the character of composite is so different for every system. It's not really going to really fit the vibe of, you know, composite, I think, as you envision it. Well, should we probably be maybe wrapping it up? I mean, you know, I've still got things to do, but I mean, I'm not going to finish tonight anyway, you know?
Yeah. It's a good way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah. But
If you don't have anything else to
I've
do.
made good progress here.
Like drive to Columbus to work for a day.
I just need to get my amp. I hope it comes. You know, when we were talking about the amp yesterday,
Mhm.
like after I already decided that I wanted to buy it, to buy that other one instead.
Yeah.
Like I looked away and I did something else for a few minutes, and I went back and it said order in the next 6 minutes and it will ship today. But like it was like well past then, so like it's not even going to ship until Monday now.
Well, hopefully it doesn't take too long to get there.
But I really want to. I'm looking forward to using it for sure.
This is like something we should do more. I think we always say this. Like, this would be fun. I think people enjoyed this.
I
do it more often.
I kind of like the layout I made for it with like the
Yeah.
240p test suite color bar pattern back there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
But I also just think, like, even if it's like not even rewiring stuff, it's like we could do anything. And you know, it really is just I guess on Twitch it'd be like a just talking stream. 'Cause that's really what it is, just hanging out, right? Just hanging out and you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's just one webcam.
What's better than this?
And NDI on my camera. I have my camera, my phone plugged in. Because there's no way it would have lasted through all this, for sure, I don't think.
Yeah. But even if we're just, just... I've had an idea that, like, I could even do a thing where I'm, like, if I'm, like, alphabetizing my games. And the other thing is, like, I was supposed to do this a long time ago with Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly, where we were just going to hang out and talk while I put all of my Genesis games in release order.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, at least the, keep the black grid boxes separate.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could easily, hopefully not doing wiring streams all the time, but like I said earlier, like if I'm hoping later this year I'll be able to replace the living room carpet because it's terrible. So if I do that, maybe I'll do another rewiring stream down there.
Yeah. Really quick, Scepter Sever says you should put the games in biographical order, like in high fidelity, and I think that'd be really fun, just as an exercise. To try it, to see if you could do it. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it with like a lot of games, like games that I got later, but I could certainly do it for like games I had as a kid.
I used to have like my Super Nintendo and N64 games ordered in the order I bought them. And like, up to a certain point it was so easy to remember.
Yeah.
It was so
Like,
easy to
that's
remember
kind of
at
a
a
cool
time,
idea.
and then at some point, there you just cross this threshold where you're just like, I wish I could do it, but I can't do it anymore. Like, you eventually you get to the stage where you think, oh, I should do alphabetical instead, and then you like kind of regret it, but then by then you've already forgotten what was the order anymore.
Yeah, I told you
I
about
miss
how when
that.
I was a little kid. I mean, I think I told you like how when I was a little kid, like I would put game cartridges in the wrong boxes. Did I tell you about this?
You to like surprise yourself.
Inexplicably, like it was like I just thought it would be a funny thing to do, like a fun thing to do, where I get in like if I wanted to play a game, I pull it off a shelf and then there's something else in there, and then I had to play that.
Back when I used to be on, actually do things on Twitter. I always like to make a tweet like when a new game came out, and like whatever was like in my console, like when I got that new game, I'm like, I've made history. I am the first person to ever put, this really random game inside the case for this new game, because I just like temporarily put it in the new case when I put the new game in. Like, here, let me make history right now. Let me find a way to make history.
The only what's that? The only person in history to do what he's gonna do, I guess.
You ready? You ready for this action?
Yeah.
You ready for this? Boom! Making history. First person to have ever put a copy of Steambot Chronicles for the PlayStation 2 and a case for Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series X. No one in history has done this till me. No one.
Put that in the Guinness Book, I guess, right?
Yep, that's right. But no, I mean, I get that. I actually, I hate that I remember I did this, because I totally thought I would not remember I did this. Like on my Wii, like, I cleaned up my Wii desktop quite a bit. Like, everything I need to access is just like on the first page. And then I put like all the stuff that's like, like the Weather Channel and those kinds of things. I put them way off to the far right side of the dashboard. But like right in the middle, I put the demo for Too Fast for Gnomes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to completely forget that's there. And someday I'm going to see that and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, Too Fast for Gnomes, the demo. That's great. And I don't know why I never forgot that I did that. Because I remember like one time I like started scrolling through it. I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I put the demo for Too Fast for Gnomes in the middle here. And there it was. And so I'm never pleasantly surprised by the existence of the Too Fast for Gnomes demo. So disappointing. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it.
That'll do it. We'll see everybody tomorrow night.
I'll turn off the stream. I'll put Microsoft Flight Simulator and Steambot Chronicles back on the shelves out there. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Are you playing Cotton Reboot tomorrow?
I'm gonna play Cotton Reboot and probably some other stuff because Cotton Reboot gives you unlimited continues, and I'll probably play through it, and then maybe I'll do a games I've never booted before
Ooh.
after that.
And then I'm going to stream the next week, and I'm planning to stream. If Zane's dad is still watching, I know he'll be happy. I'm going to stream Cruisin' Blast, and I'm thinking like I'll split the stream between that and.
Is that getting a physical release? Is that coming out soon?
Comes out on Tuesday.
It's getting a physical release too?
Yeah, man. I have it pre-ordered.
Wow.
So yeah, we're going to play Cruisin' Blast and WarioWare. I picked up WarioWare yesterday. On my way back from IKEA.
Ah.
So yeah, I'll it's so rare that we've like actually planned what we're going to do for streams this far in advance.
Yeah, it's very rare.
All right.
All right. Thanks to everybody who donated tonight and hung out on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'll have to do it more often.
See you tomorrow. Good night.
Yep.